we need to take our desires seriously. And sometimes the desire comes in a form that might seem extreme. You're like, oh, sometimes I feel like I just want to quit my business, but you're not actually being called to quit your business. What you're being called to do is to reform it, to rebirth it, to reimagine it, and to get even more in alignment. And this is literally your like structured and ambitious and more masculine side, really being at odds with your feminine urges for solitude, for inner listening, for less responsibility, for getting off the hamster wheel. We have to, like, it might sound extreme to have this feeling of like, oh, maybe I just need to go off into the woods for a while, or maybe I just need to buy this plane ticket. But those kinds of things are actually pointing to very real feminine urges that can be incorporated into what you're already doing without derailing the success of your business. Pleasure and prioritizing real living and not just livelihood is how we create even more success. Your womanhood is not a liability. Your womanhood is an asset. And I'm going to show you how to make it that way.
Welcome to the Worth It podcast. I'm Megan Taylor, coach for the brilliant minds and the rare ones who are always growing. I have helped ambitious women and men, business owners and leaders from around the world with defining and expanding their unique work, having the relationship that they actually want, and creating the life that makes all of the work feel worth it. Every week on the podcast, we discuss the key pivots that I coach my clients on and the real work required in order to be a leader and the woman or the man that you're here to be. With that, let's get started.
Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Today I've decided to take the podcast on the road while walking around my neighborhood because we're here to talk about what it means to be a woman who is both successful and deeply embodied in her womanhood. And if you're anything like me or my clients, sometimes when we get ramped up on productivity, you feel like you're just up in your head more. You feel like you can't stop thinking about all the things you need to be doing. And you might just be, thinking a lot and like not being fully present. A lot of times it's something as simple as a walk to get back into your body and to get you just reconnected. I find that it's very common that highly ambitious women, when we plug in to the work that we're really meant to do, it's like it sets your whole world on fire. Like you get into productivity, creativity, and if you're somebody who's also like managing a team, having kids, you have a husband, you have other goals in life, you take care of your parents as well. There can be a lot of different things going on. And sometimes when the to-do list is like 1,000 things long, you sometimes end up putting yourself at the bottom. Today, I want to help you reflect on where you're at currently when it comes to making room for more success and making room for more womanhood and what it really looks like for you to have both. Sometimes I call this the masculine to feminine swing. And it's very common that I see among my high achiever clients that if they have been in a highly structured environment, or they've just been in a time in their life where they're really focused on productivity and focused on just making sure to stay on top of their task list. This happens a lot in corporate environments or if you're currently scaling a business, and it can be a phase in life, right? Sometimes we need to like buckle down and get focused. But the way that we keep longevity and the way that we create sustainable success is by also balancing it with femininity, with womanhood, with finding the pleasures in life as well. Now, when I'm talking about womanhood, I'm not saying that men like don't also experience pleasures. All I'm saying is that womanhood, in my experience, like the qualities that women bring in general, is there tends to be high levels of creativity. There tends to be like, there's a desire to drop into the present moment. Women are also incredible nurturers and amazing at connecting and building community. And when we're in these environments where the focus is on the future, the focus is on profits, the focus is on planning, the focus is on what we need to be doing next. Sometimes we miss the moment to drop it and connect. Sometimes we miss the moment to be creative. And sometimes we miss the details of what's going on in the present. And we miss the pleasure of like why we're even doing all this in the first place. This does a couple things. One, we can get really like disconnected from our missions when we're so focused on the tasks and on the doing. Two, if you're not dropped into like being present in your relationships, you're also going to end up getting affected in your success as well, because your business is built on relationships. And like when you're in a sale, if you're not fully present, the person in front of you, like the person you're selling to, does not feel you fully embodied. They can sense that at a low level, you are not fully there. And this can actually influence your sales as well. And so, what does create sales is like being an embodied woman, being a woman who is connected to her pleasure, being a woman who is connected to her creativity, being a woman who is connected and feeling supported in the context of her relationships, whether that's with her man at home, whether that is having like happy, healthy relationships with her kids, or it's simply like actually having time to close the laptop or turn off the phone at the end of the day and take some time for herself, whether it's a walk or a bath, or it's going to the gym, or it's, you know, watching Grey's Anatomy, or it's, I don't know, making sourdough bread. I did that for a little while. I don't know. I think that, when you say womanhood, sometimes people think it's like, oh, okay, like going back to these traditional gender roles. And for some, it is. But we have to remember that a part of the reason why there are some women who are like gravitating towards going back to traditional gender roles and like wanting men who lead is because it's not because they want to be like women who don't have careers. I mean, sometimes it is, but not my client. Like, my client is similar to me, where it's like we really value family, we really value relationships, we really value having capacity to be a good parent, and also to be able to like have a really rich, rewarding relationship. And there's certain things that we need to be in place in order to do that, alongside with having a successful career, being a leader, serving others, and doing so from a place of staying embodied and integrated. So anyway, I want to talk to you about a few things to keep in mind when you have been in high productivity mode, as I have been lately. And I'm partially doing this podcast as just a reminder to myself as well about the things that we need in place so that you can continue to maintain the success that you have and grow the success that you have, alongside continuing to prioritize the things that make you fully woman, and really knowing that being fully woman is a part of what adds to your success. Sometimes it can feel like, there was like a gal who came to one of my Beyond Success calls, which is like these free calls that I do. And she was saying like, sometimes I don't know whether to just like somehow get super structured and double down on this business and like let it really take form, or if I should like go live in the woods somewhere. And this is literally your like structured and ambitious and more masculine side really being at odds with your feminine urges for solitude, for inner listening, for less responsibility, for getting off the hamster wheel. And we have to, like, it might sound extreme to have this feeling of like, oh, maybe I just need to go off into the woods for a while, or maybe I just need to buy this plane ticket. But those kinds of things are actually pointing to very real feminine urges that can be incorporated into what you're already doing without derailing or, throwing a stick in the spokes of your wheels that are the success of your business. Pleasure and prioritizing real living and not just livelihood is how we create even more success. Your womanhood is not a liability. Your womanhood is an asset. And I'm going to show you how to make it that way.
So, I don't know if you've heard, but I have apparently gone temporarily crazy and decided to offer free 45-minute private phone calls with me. These phone calls are my Beyond Success calls. This is an opportunity for leaders, business owners who have already created a certain level of success and you're ready to take it up a notch, take it to the next level. This is an opportunity for you to come in and talk with me. If you're somebody who has been following me for a while, you know that you're interested in working with me someday, or you've been curious and you want to have a conversation and come and receive what I have to offer. So this 45 minutes is an opportunity for you to come in and to be able to share how you're really feeling about your work, how you're really feeling about your relationships, how you're really feeling overall. Because when else do you have the opportunity to do that without wondering if somebody's thinking, well, what do you have to complain about? I know that you've already created a certain level of success, and there might be times where you feel like there's just this next level that you can't quite reach. And one of my main geniuses is being able to see the patterns that are showing up in various areas of life. So you're able to come in and talk to me about anything that's currently coming up. Main focus with my clients tends to be on next level passion in your career in terms of impact, as well as your next level of revenue, deeper relationships, and creating a life that feels rich and fulfilling for you overall. So if that sounds like something that you want to talk to me about, reach out to me on Instagram as soon as possible, because I really don't know how long I'm going to be making these calls free. And message me the words Beyond Success, and we can talk about getting you scheduled.
You don't have to pick either or. You don't have to either like drive yourself into the ground and burn out like you have in the past. And also like you don't need to run away. I mean, unless you want to move to another, country. I mean, I certainly relocated to a new place that was better for my nervous system, moved to a smaller town, and like all of that helped me become more embodied and now even more productive. We need to take our desires seriously. And sometimes the desire comes in a form that might seem extreme. You're like, oh, sometimes I feel like I just want to quit my business, but you're not actually being called to quit your business. What you're being called to do is to reform it, to rebirth it, to reimagine it, and to get even more in alignment. So, what I want to talk about is three things for you to focus on, and I'm going to make this pretty brief because I'm planning my baby shower and I'm having a meeting with my ladies in like 5 minutes. So we're going to make this a quicker overview and then we'll go deeper on it. Okay. Okay. So three things that I want you to focus on so that you can really get into balance between your drive for success and productivity, as well as these deeper feminine urges to slow down or to have more pleasure and enjoyment in your work and in your life as a whole. The first is you need the right kind of simple structure. Sometimes we end up getting overly complicated with having way too many to-do lists, none of which you ever execute on, or you have tasks listed in like three different places, or you don't have a plan, period. And a part of that is because you have a very unique success style. Many of my clients actually say that they have like ADD or ADHD diagnoses or symptoms. And because they're so highly creative, that's oftentimes why they're so successful. They also have incredible capacity to hyper focus and get things done. And so what you need is you need to find the right kind of supportive structure. And that's something that I do privately with my clients, is helping you to figure out the types of structures that actually feel supportive and not restrictive, including things as simple as just planning out what the priorities are for the week. Okay. So that's thing number one, is figure out what works for you. And sometimes it takes a little bit of trial and error. But in the same way that like women who are leaders tend to thrive around being with a loving man who's also a leader. And combined, the two of you make sort of a power couple, because men who are leaders tend to add a level of structure, safety, and protection to a woman's life. And so whether you have a man in your life like this or not, you need to create the structure that allows you space, not only for being productive, but also for connecting to yourself, slowing down, being present to life, being creative for no reason, taking care of your beauty, and also like connecting to your kids, to your girlfriends, to your family, and doing the things that bring life to your livelihood. Okay. So you can do that in a softly structured way. Number two, you need to have, you need to be aware of what is your next level singular work. I've talked about this on previous episodes, but your singular work is the unique work that you're here to do that's based off of your gifting, but also where your journey is pointing you to now. So you have probably created a certain level of success based off of where you have been, but now it's time to create at a new level. And so if you have been bored or feeling unenthused, all of that is going to make the work feel heavier, and you're going to end up doing things that don't really move the needle forward because they're kind of driven more by like logic and this is what I should do as opposed to this is what I want to do. So the reason why I'm so productive right now is because I have the structure, and also because I'm so deeply connected to my mission and my work. And that makes my work really fun. It calls in the right kinds of clients who want to have the types of conversations I'm interested in having because I know what the work is. I can articulate it clearly. And then that means that all of the meetings that are on my calendar on a day-to-day basis are with clients that like really want to do the real work, who really resonate with my message. And so it makes it so much fun because it's like soulmate matches, you know? It's like I am the coach. I'm the perfect coach for the clients that come into my world. And that happened because I got in touch with my singular work. And we can talk more about that if we do a call together. I'm still offering those Beyond Success calls. You can message me if you need more details on that. So those are those. And then the first one was the structure. Second is your singular work. And then the third is simply that you need to allow yourself to treat your womanhood as an asset and not as a liability. So what that means is like really slowing down, really letting yourself relax, dropping the tension out of your body, taking the time to slow your pace of voice, as I'm doing now. It means really slowing down enough to, you know, when you wake up in the morning from the first thing, you don't roll over to your phone. You feel the crispness of the sheets. You listen to the quiet noises like it in the first early mornings when you wake up. You start thinking about what would make for a great day ahead. You put on something, you dress in something that makes you feel beautiful. And I know sometimes things are rushed, so all of these things can be pre-planned for a bit, okay? You take the time to, in the morning, to figure out what are your non-negotiables, and then you make sure you have time to actually enjoy your lunch. You drink plenty of water, you take care of your body, and you make sure to move it at some point in the day. And if you feel called, like you need to take a vacation or book a trip, we got to figure out when and where and get it on the calendar and plan accordingly, because we need to keep you feeling fueled. We need to live in order to fuel your livelihood, and vice versa. When you feel good, you make more money. When you feel sexy, you make more money. When you feel like a woman, you make more money. And when you're plugged in and dropped out of your head and into your body, you're going to get answers that you've been racking your brain for a lot faster. So keep these things in mind. I'm going to go plan my baby shower now. And if you have any questions, or if you want to take advantage of the Beyond Success call and talk to me for 45 minutes and tell me what's going on, what's been coming up for you in your work, in your relationships, in your life as a whole, and we can talk more, and I'll tell you more about what I see about where you're being called, what's being ready to shift in your life and in your work. And we can talk about what the real focus needs to be. That's going to make the difference for you, okay? With that, I will see you on the next episode. Have a beautiful day.
Hi, lovely. Really quick before you go, it would mean the absolute world to me if you found value in today's episode, if you would take a minute to leave a 5-star review for the podcast. This is going to help other powerhouses like you to be able to find it. Also, I love interacting with my listeners, so I would love to know more about what you thought about today's episode. If you take a screenshot and share it to your Instagram stories and tag at Megan W. Taylor, it's going to notify me, and I actually love to reshare your posts with my audience as well. With that, thank you so much for being a listener, and I'm wishing you a beautiful, productive, happy, sexy, lucrative week, and I will see you on the next episode.